You're heading over to Facebook Live. This is exciting. Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
I've never aired the show from my dining room. So here we go. Welcome to my house and welcome to What Women Want show. This is a model lifestyle celebrity series. For those of you who know me, I'm Judy Goss. I'm a TV host on Behind the Gates for AWE. I'm also a QVC host and the host of What Women Want show. What Women Want podcast got over 1.5 million downloads, and now it's a Facebook Live show. And this is a spin-off, our model lifestyle celebrity series. It's basically a spin-off of the What Women Want show. And it's very exciting because we have Dr. Robbie Ludwig on tonight with us. Say hi, Robbie.
Hello. Hello. I'm so thrilled to be here. And it's so nice to join you, Judy, because I feel like I've missed out on seeing you.
Well, we have, and everybody's missing out on seeing everyone these days. So it's disappointing, but we are going to get through it. And I'm excited to have you here today to talk about this virtual stress reality. You know, a lot of people know that I want my viewers and my audience to really find out things that they wouldn't normally think about. So that's the premise of the show. But before we start, Dr. Robbie, I would like to show off our sponsors for today for the show, because we have some incredible raffles. If you have registered through Zoom, I'm going to pick the raffles at the end here. I have them in a bowl. I did it the old-fashioned way. I didn't want to do it digital because I didn't want to, you know, pick someone like Catherine Marshall, who's the president of What Women Want, and everybody go, wait, that's not fair. So I have them all cut up in pieces of paper. And I'd like to start with Helen Powers. So Helen Powers donated one of our raffles. She has these beautiful candles that, if you can see it, it says Capri Nights. Now, if you smell this candle, it's like stepping into a tropical paradise. So whoever wins this is going to be very lucky, because you'll be transported from your kitchen into a tropical island without even leaving your house. There you go. Okay, yes, Helen, you can use that one for your advertising. And our next one is True Serenity Tea. Now, when I got this box in the mail, gorgeous, I couldn't believe how well it was laid out, and the different flavors sparkle and shine for the new year. We have Candyland, there's velvety vanilla, oh my goodness. And it comes with the little tea strainer, I guess you call it, was the steeper. It comes with a little bag and a little inspirational note. Make today so awesome, yesterday gets jealous. Love it. So what a beautiful gift. And not just necessarily these are Christmas gifts, holiday gifts, right? They're host presents, they're gifts for yourself, because we are spending so much time at home. And, you know, we really want to enjoy and pamper ourselves, which Robbie and I are going to talk about in a little bit. And we have one more sponsor, and I didn't get the sample in time, but it's Unique Pillows. It's UNIIK Pillows. And this is a mother-daughter team that makes these gorgeous pillows, and they have pictures on them of gifts and of holiday spirit and cheer. And actually some of the pillows aren't necessarily holiday either. You can put them, you know, all year round. So I love supporting small businesses. My husband has a business, a men's clothing business that's been in the family for 74 years. And, you know, it's just a passion of mine. So I'm very excited that all three of these raffles that we're raffling off today are by small businesses that could really use our help. So if you need a last minute present, or you want to pamper yourself just a tad, then go on their websites, please, and join them. Dr. Robbie Ludwig, we have had you on the show a few times. Of course, you're a very good friend of mine. I adore you to death. And, you know, I even interviewed you and your mom.
That's true. You know, I was thinking about that the other day. It's so funny. Yes, we had a wonderful show that day, and you invited my mother to talk about her book when it first came out, and she was very grateful for that. And we had
She's
a great
so adorable.
She is. I think she took over the show. She tends to take over.
She did. She talks a lot, but you know what? She has a lot to say. So I love that if you're going to talk a lot, you better have something to say. Oh, and by the way, this is my living room, dining room that I'm airing from today. I normally air in my office upstairs, but I have a teenage online learner that's taken it over, and I didn't want to bother or interrupt the studies. So we're all, you know, just doing what we can in these different situations. And I had the lighting just right about an hour and a half ago, and the sun started coming down into my glass doors here. So here I am looking like a cartoon character, but it's all good stuff. So Robbie, what I want to talk to you about today is this virtual stress, the reality of it.
Mhm.
We all know we've had stress all year. God knows every single one of us has been through a very traumatic year in any way you slice it, right?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of stresses that we don't realize we're going through. I can imagine. I'm not a psychotherapist like you. By the way, Robbie's an award-winning reporter, psychotherapist. And if you haven't seen her yet, which I can't imagine you haven't, she's on HLN, CNN, NBC, just name a network, and pretty much Dr. Robbie Ludwig's been on it. So you're a good one to go to for this. What is there that we may not realize is happening to our bodies or our minds?
Well, it's such a good question because 2020 has really been an interesting year where we have all collectively dealt with a lot of stressors. And one of the main strategies or ways in which we reduce our stress or reduce our sense of loss is through connection, connecting with other people. And I think something that everybody has taken away from 2020 is the importance of connecting with those that we love and realizing how important it is to have people in our lives, to hug, to kiss, to be able to have those face-to-face moments. And if you remember, before 2020, I would look around, and I'm sure, Judy, you had this experience too, where you would see people sitting across from one another, looking at their phones, not looking. And I
Are
remember
you describing my teenagers at home?
We all can get like that,
Yeah,
where
it's true.
we're looking or we feel the pull. And actually, a lot of technology is designed to keep us sucked in. Right?
Mm.
They know what we're interested in. We live in a world where basically we can pick and choose what we want to watch and what we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward into 2020, I think there's this realization that technology is not enough. Although we may be very attached and sucked in, it does not replace the people in our lives.
Right. I've gone down a rabbit hole many times on Instagram or wherever, I get the phone and it's like, it sucks you in. And even this morning, my husband was saying, goodbye, I'll see you later, goodbye. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just in a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Like I have only just woken up. I hadn't even had my coffee yet. So it is so easy. And what is your suggestion moving forward for 2021? Some of us still have a good 6 months or so that we're going to be online, maybe longer, constantly. A lot of us are going to go back to work, with the vaccinations coming in. I see hope on the horizon. But we do
Yeah.
still have at least a few more months where we're going to be dealing with this full time online and possibly not seeing loved ones for quite a while yet.
My suggestion is think about what is thoughtful and unique. And when I look back at some of the gifts that mean the most to me, they were personal. Sometimes it wasn't even the gift, it was the card. It was the artwork that I framed of my children, that they made for me. Think about the personal. Think about what can you give of yourself that another person would receive as special. So those who are special in your life, let them know it somehow. And I think if we can think of ways creatively to do that, then that's very powerful. Because we're letting the people know who matter to us, who we need, who we love, sharing what we love about them and why we need them in our lives.
Right. And what are some of the unseen stressors that we might not realize we're going through at the moment, besides the obvious?
Well, the unseen stressors can be exhaustion, can be irritability, can be a feeling of disconnection, like you're just going through the day and almost like you're part of a movie, but it's a derealization where you don't really quite feel like you. And I think we're all in a little bit of shock. I mean, I know that this
Still.
started in March. I'm a pretty aware person, and I'm psychologically very well read. I've analyzed myself many times.
Too many times, probably.
Too many times, right. And there's still a part of me that is coming to terms with the reality of this, because nobody ever imagined a pandemic, a global pandemic, would happen, let alone impact our lives in the way that it has. So I think we're still coming to terms with it each and every day, what it means to us. And dealing with a pandemic each day may mean something different. So lethargy, feeling, noticing if you're going into an isolative mode where you tend to be more isolative. If you're not exercising, if you're not eating right, all the ways in which we take care of ourselves becomes so much harder, because part of what drives us is the hope, right? Or
Yeah.
looking forward to something, looking forward to a lunch and what you want to wear to that lunch. And we don't have that happening as much for us anymore. I mean, we joke around about, like, you know, wearing pajamas to work, but there's something about that that erodes our self-esteem. We don't get to see the different aspects of ourselves that we enjoy. So we have to really create that for ourselves.
Yeah, you have a good
I hope
point
that
with that.
question.
Yeah, it does.
Stress, yeah.
Yeah, no, because you know what, it sounds like what you're saying in a way is that, first of all, we should be more forgiving with ourselves, which I have issues with. Anybody that knows me really well knows I'm pretty hard on myself. I don't know why. Maybe it comes from my upbringing or whatever it is. But I tend to really, you know, be hard on myself when I'm tired. And why am I so tired? Like I you know, haven't done that much today. But we're doing so much every day right now just to get through this year, maybe even just to get through to the next day, along with all of the other stressors in life.
True. And just think about the chronic worrying that people are experiencing. Maybe they're worried about their child's education. Maybe they're worried about where food is coming from. Maybe they're worried about finances. Maybe they're just worried about what their future looks like in general. Or maybe there's a huge worry and fear that those they love can't survive what's going on, just this disease that we all have to deal with. And that worrying takes up energy. And it's really important to know the things that you can control and the things that you can't, and to be able to separate the two. We always have choice, right? We can't fix the pandemic, but we can do things that helps our family to feel safe. We can make choices that are better for the community at large in terms of health, right? We can follow the CDC rules. We can wear a mask. We can social distance. We can acknowledge maybe the holidays is not going to be festive in quite the same way, but if we hunker down, you know, then we'll have a future that will be safer for all of us. So it's about making choices that makes our world healthier, both emotionally and physically.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, when we have these stressors and we don't realize that it's almost like double the stress, you know, and you have a good point there about how we react to things. Like, I can't change my mother. I realized after all these years. So I can definitely change, though, how I react to her, you know,
Right.
and how I react to the family and what's going on with that. You know, a lot of times the mother is the kind of rock there that we hold everybody up. And we really have to look at ourselves and realize how we're reacting to things. And I'm only saying this because I'm actually going through some coaching right now. I realized myself how wow, wait a minute, take a step back here. Look how you're reacting to it and what it's firing off inside of you.
Yes. And I think just to be understanding, you know, we're always learning and progressing. And so what you always want to do is be in that curious space where you're learning about yourself and learning about others. And what I know as a therapist is the more information we know, the more that we can see things clearly, the less personally we take it. And
Oh, that's true.
and if we're not taking things personally, that's a great stress reducer. But I just want to have a different conversation about stress, because I think it's the conversation that most people never have. And I think it's an important idea to think about, is that stress sometimes is a good thing. And we need to stop and we need to understand it. We need to understand it as information. We too often put certain feelings in the good category: happy, feeling like you're moving and grooving, grateful, and we put depression, or we put sadness, or feelings of loss, or kind of a low self-esteem, we put that in the negative category. And what would be great to do is to look at all feelings as information. And what is it telling you? What can you learn? So if you are feeling tremendously stressed, what is that telling you about your life? What you need to do for you? What do you need more of? What do you need less of? And how can you use that as a guide for what will work for you emotionally? And it's slightly different for everybody. What works for you, Judy, might be slightly different than what works for me. Mm-hmm. And, all that matters is you discovering the path that works for you.
Yeah, that's great advice. Take a step back, you're saying, and maybe observe how you're handling situations and what we've learned at this point, almost coming through this for an entire year, what we've learned in how we react to things. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just to use your feelings and reaction as information. So instead of saying, I shouldn't be sad, I shouldn't feel a sense of loss, I should feel grateful because I have a roof over my head. It is great if you feel grateful for those things that you have, but it is okay to wallow in your losses and to legitimize those experiences as well. That is part of the human experience. And I've said this to my patients, and I've talked about this on TV, the power of pain. Just because you're feeling pain doesn't mean you're not doing something right or that you're not being successful. The power of pain is, it's basically a light going off saying, I need to attend to something. I need to change something. Something's not quite right that I need to understand. And many of us have heard people who just go, they don't consider themselves, and the only time they stop is when they have a medical issue that forces them to stop. And so before getting to that point where we really burn our bodies out, mind, body, and spirit, we allow ourselves and give legitimacy to the pain that we experience and learn from it and use it to our advantage.
I love that. I just would love to end the show on that note, because we could think so much about that and go back and really re-examine our lives at this point.
Yeah.
So that is fantastic advice. So speaking about the power of pain, I would like to alleviate some of that pain by calling off some raffles now, because some of this stuff is so great to pamper yourself. Actually, all of it. I was so lucky to get it today. So I'm going to start the raffles. I'm going to call off a name. And then Robbie, after the first raffle, I would like to talk about your podcast, and then we're going to call the other two raffles.
Okay, so great.
The first one we have is Helen Powers. Now, Helen is giving a candle and what is she giving? Those little sticks that go up, not diffusers, incense with this candle. So talk about getting away from it all inside your house. And if I pick Helen's name, I'm gonna crack up here. No.
That's so funny.
All right, we're going to go back into that bowl, Helen, because you just you're doing the manifesting thing, but it's your product. So I'm going to pick somebody else's name. Okay, I'm not looking. Hysterical. Lulu Trevana. There you go. So Helen Powers and Lulu wins today. Helen Powers Lifestyle Collection. Beautiful. Congratulations, Lulu.
Hi.
And we're going to hook you up with Helen and give you her address, give her your address and everything so she can send that right out to you. So Robbie, besides all of the incredible advice you've given us so far, and I can't believe you compacted it within about 20 minutes, it's such important points that you made. That's one of the reasons I love, interviewing you, is that you just lay it all out there and you give our viewers really what they're looking for. I would love to talk about your new podcast.
So I'm so excited. This is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time, is get a podcast out there. And I was really giving it some thought. What did I want it to look like? And how did I want to position this podcast? And what really came to mind was make it mini. Because there's so many podcasts out there that are, 45 minutes, a half an hour, which is all great. But what I do on my podcast is I take some of our most popular shows and our prominent celebrities, actors, authors, and we put it really into a 10-minute highlight podcast so that people can get a sense of what Nancy Grace said during my half an hour interview, and we put it in 10 minutes. We did that with all of our great people like Montel Williams and Larry King, and Joan London is going up this week. And we've just had such fabulous people that have a lot to say, but it's nice to recognize people.
To get the bullets.
Yeah, people are busy. And if they want to hear the whole thing, they can go back to the Talking Live show, hear the whole thing at their own convenience, their own, whenever they're in the mood for it, or if they really find somebody that they want to learn more about. But I like the idea of 10 minutes. Who doesn't have 10 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. To learn valuable information that's going to change their life.
Yeah, and so it's up now on my Instagram. There's a link to it, and I hope people sign up and subscribe and weigh in and share their comments. And we're just really happy for people who join the community and can weigh in and say, hey, listen, we'd like to hear from this person. And then we'll be open to that. So it's a real collaborative effort, and I'm really happy to bring it to people.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. I see that taken off and like wildfire, because really, I mean, the best parts of all of these celebrity interviews put into 10 minutes. Fantastic.
Yeah. And I have to say, I listen to all of them because I obviously am doing the interviews live on Talking Live and listening to the half an hour version. And when I listen to the 10-minute version, there's something I hear in a slightly different way. And I conducted the original interview. So I'm continuing to learn just when we take these tidbits, and it reinforces how I experience this personality and what they're trying to do with their celebrity or with their talents.
Excellent. I love it. All right. So you hear that? Subscribe to Robbie's podcast on her Instagram. Is it Robbie Ludwig or Dr. Robbie Ludwig?
It's Dr. Robbie Ludwig. So it's DrRobiLudwig. And if you look in the link, you can search for it and find it. And it's there permanently. So all the episodes that have ever been are up there, and we add to it each week. So there's a new episode each week you can look out for.
Excellent. And I'd like to throw out a thank you to Catherine Marshall. She's the president and running What Women Want Networking and Conference now. Of course, we have the What Women Want show, and our company, umbrella company, is What Women Want Networking and Conference. And she is just taking that and running with it. It's actually growing during a pandemic. So very impressive. If you want to go find out more, it's whatwomenwantnetworking.com. Okay, so we have 2 more raffles sitting here, beautiful raffles. The True Serenity Tea we're going to do next. So here's my little bowl. I'm going to mix it all up, and it'll be hysterical if I pick Helen again. Okay, nope, that's no such luck, Helen. We have Bernadette Penier, congratulations, True Serenity Tea. Oh my gosh, you're going to enjoy it so much. And then we have one more raffle. See, if I was doing this digitally, you'd probably be wondering, is she really picking the names or not? Okay, here we go. The last raffle, and this is unique, beautiful, unique pillows, a mother-daughter duo, is Patty Callwood. Patty Callwood, congratulations. And we are excited. Next month, we have Oriane Collins, Bill Collins' wife. Now, she has a beautiful jewelry company, so she's an entrepreneur in her own right. But she has an incredible story, like just an insane background. And I can't wait to interview her on January 27th. We started out this model lifestyle celebrity series a couple of months ago with Tito Puente Jr. And last month we had supermodel Emmy. And of course, this month is Dr. Robbie Ludwig. So we're just rolling along with incredible guests. And I hope you'll join us. We have our What Women Want show page on Facebook. And of course, we put the registration links out on Zoom because you can actually chat. I see some people chatting in the room here. I don't know if anyone has any questions for Dr. Robbie Ludwig. I'm looking in the Zoom call right now. I'm going to look up and see. Bernadette, Helen Powers is on a manifesting mission. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Robbie Ludwig before we go? You know, and it's Robbie, it's funny because you said so many things and you were so clear about everything and intentional that I can imagine really people don't have questions at the moment. They probably want to just absorb all of this information and go out and implement it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just probably validates what people experience internally. And listen, I have to remind myself when we first spoke, Judy, we were talking about the role technology or social media can play in terms of causing stress. And there are two simple ideas that I think are very powerful in terms of making sure that your social media scrolls are not damaging to you. And number one is if it doesn't serve you, don't follow it. You know, it's not worth it. And it's really a way to just harm oneself. We have to do the editing to make sure what we're seeing makes sense for us. And I'll tell you a personal story. There was somebody I was following, you know, somebody I know personally. And the posts were, I thought, overly sexual, overly narcissistic, and I experienced this person in a very different way as a result and found myself to be very judgmental, and it was not having a good impact on my relationship with this person, at least in my own mind, probably in person too. I tried to manage that. And a couple of people close to me said, just stop following. You know, you don't have to block the person, but just make sure that they come up on your feed. And I noticed such a difference. Like I was able to not see something that I didn't think was useful to me, able to maintain a relationship with this person. And it was hugely helpful because we also have to think about, you know, I'm not there to tell somebody what to post or not to post. That's for everybody to determine on their own. But it made a huge difference. It really was burdening my day unnecessarily and really giving yourself the gift to mute somebody, to edit out what's not working for you is a huge step in the right direction because there is such a thing as too much information.
Right. Good point. I love it. What a great way to end our show. Thank you, Dr. Robbie Ludwig, again for coming on the show. And thank all of you for watching and joining in the comments in Zoom we have. They're wonderful. Someone was asking how they can subscribe. I'm not sure if that's to my show or your show, but my show, this show, Model Lifestyle, will be put on YouTube. So you can go to my Judy Goss YouTube. You can just Google Judy Goss YouTube and you'll find it there. And to subscribe to Robbie's show, she's on Instagram.
You go to @Dr. Robbie Ludwig and look on the link in the bio and you can just scroll. You can see certain shows and press subscribe. It's where everybody can find any podcast that if there's Spotify, you like that, it's there. It's wherever podcasts are, but I think I have a link up for Apple if that works for people.
Okay. Yep. You can find us both on Google anywhere. Nothing's secret anymore. It's all good. And we promise not to block you. Okay, my dear. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Thank you again. I hope all of you stay safe and healthy and have the best time with your family and friends on Zoom. You know, we got this. It's only a few more months. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and we're going to get through it. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.